Hi, I'm Chris from Copterflug, Germany. I was very recently asked if I could provide some details on how to open the M2 or how to disassemble it. So I have one disassembled M2 here, but I will show you, so this is no step-by-step tutorial, but I will show you how to open the M2 in general, which steps are required, and yeah, what's important, because these devices, they have rubber sealings, they are greasy, and so I will provide you with some information. So the first thing is, if you go in salt water, you will sooner or later face problems with the motors. So what we do is we rinse the M2, then we put it in water, let it stay there for like 30 minutes, and then we spin the motors. We turn it on, we spin the motors again and again, and then we change the water, and we repeat this for 2 or 3 times. But after everything has dried, a week later or so, the problem is that the motors become squeaky. So after 1 year of operation, I threw half of them away. I have a lot of more or less useless motors. I just kept them because I want to harvest the plugs and maybe the cables. So here are they. So this is quite good too, but I sorted it out because it has erosion on the prop. Do I have a really bad one? So yeah, that's a really bad one. We can't use it anymore, and the prop is also gone. So how can this be avoided? I have WD-40, so this is not recommended, but they have silicone grease. You can just unscrew one of the screws, then put silicone grease in, and then turn it around, and then put a screw back in. So maybe there's some other silicone grease for marine use, but so I do it with WD-40, but this is not good because, I mean, here are no sealings, but never put WD-40 on those sealings. So let's continue. This was the first thing for the motors, and the headlights. Sometimes they are not waterproof anymore. You have water in the headlights, and those headlights are in Germany around 40 euros each. You can open them. You can unscrew this metal ring. You can remove the glass if you have a suction tool, and then remove the white reflector. I don't know where they are not waterproof, if it is on the front or on the back, I can't say. So what I did is I opened one and I cleaned everything. The LED was still working, and then I put some new grease on the gasket, on the rubber gasket, and screwed it back together. But now I bought 2 spares. So those are the same for the M2 and M2 Pro. At least this is what I heard. So now let's get into it. How to open the M2 or M2 Pro. It's basically more or less the same. At first, you have to unscrew all the connectors for the motors and for the LEDs. And if you're unsure, then please label the cables. But basically, the upper side is for the upper motors, front, rear, and they also have different cable lengths, so please keep this in mind. Here is the connector for the LEDs. So unscrew all the connectors, unscrew the main bars of the body, here and here of course. and unscrew here, and also on the bottom side. And if you have disconnected the cables, you have unscrewed the bars, you can basically take everything apart, and then you stay with the main body. Of course, at first remove the battery. And also, don't forget to clean these rubber rings and re-grease them. It's really important what kind of grease do you use. There is some, don't go for anything like Vaseline, because it's not good. Go to something like silicone grease, lubricant for O-rings and gaskets, water sports equipment. This is the stuff you want to use. It's really expensive, but you need it. You have removed both panels from the front and the rear, the side bars. You have removed those bars. You can just easily pull them out. And then you have just the main body like this. Maybe you were wondering what the screw is. To be honest, I don't exactly know what it is, but if you want to open the body, there will come, what's it called, a vacuum inside, and you can't open it, or it's really hard to open. Unscrew the screw. Don't do it like I did with a cheap screwdriver. Do something that really fits. Maybe there are plastic tools for it. Unscrew the screw, and then you see that, so basically this plastic cover here, you can take it apart. I have it, it looks like this, so take it out. And then you have those tiny screws here. The whole cylinder has 1, 2, and maybe one is covered, I don't know, but remove these screws, and you can go in with a flathead screwdriver or a pry tool. You see I slightly damaged my M2. And then you can pry it open, and when it's open, it looks like this. So these are the two parts of the housing. In fact, here was the camera. So this is on top. So please be very, very careful, because you have the flat ribbon cable for the camera, which by the way seems to be an Sony IMX. Be very careful. The reason I took this apart was because we had sudden reboots, and it turned out that we have some corrosion on the main board. But it's not like the cylinder was leaking somewhere. It looks like this was corrosion caused by condensation of water or moisture. So the reason I took this apart was we were diving like 150 meters deep, and there was some fog on the inside, and I wanted to get rid of it. So basically what I was doing, I opened everything, and then I took clothes and cleaned everything on the inside. I cleaned the gaskets, I re-greased them and put everything back together. But on the inside there was a silica gel pad. I had no pad to replace, but now I bought a bunch of those pads, and I will put them in all of my M2s, so we have 4 of them in total. At least if I found sufficient space on the inside. So I know the M2 Pro, they have those pads on the inside. It makes, under all circumstances, pretty much sense to have pads on the inside of all your devices, because you have condensation if you dive into like water with a temperature that is 20 or more degrees below the average temperature. Because the more temperature the air has, the more moisture it can hold. And if you go down from let's say you screw this thing together at a moisture of 60%, and then you cool it down to 4 degrees, you will have condensation, and this will cause corrosion and cause problems. So yes, basically that's how you take it apart. The same applies for the batteries. You have those screw here on the back side, and then you have the screw on the top and these little screws around the cylinder, and then you can take the battery apart. What's more to say? Just let me think. I think that's basically it. Now you know how to treat the motors. You know that they may become wet, the headlights. You know how to open up the cylinder. And I mean, of course, this definitely will void warranty. That's absolutely clear. Yeah, if you open the case, this will void warranty. For us, as a ROV inspection service company, it doesn't matter, because when we are at a project and we have some kind of issue, we need to solve it. We can't bring it to the service station. It is just not possible. Or if we need to replace the motors. I think replacing the motors may not void warranty because you don't open the case. But if you put it back together, be very, very sure that all cables are in their designated position. Be very sure that there is no hair or whatever on the gasket. It has to be first cleaned, then it has to be re-greased. And of course, you will have to check the condition of those O-rings. I can't give you too much advice because, I'm no ROV technician. It's just like, this is a job and it has to be done by someone. And as I am the responsible person, I do it. But experience comes from failure, and failure happens everywhere. So please don't blame me or don't blame anyone. If you open it, you open the box of the Pandora, and it is your responsibility from then. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe, and see you next time.